Oh, hello. A grand rising, beloveds. Hello. Woohoo. Thank you. And I would also like to say welcome to KGOD, the world's favorite station, broadcasting today's highest consciousness to you live from eternity, commercial free with everyone's favorite DJ, God. Yay, God. The thing itself that knows what you love and leads you to it. A special shout out to our sponsors, love, peace, joy, harmony, abundance, wisdom, compassion, and bliss. When traveling, please be sure to check out our sister stations, KTRU, KLUV, KIM, and KONE. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the angels and the cosmic merry maids of the universe. Now, don't turn that dial. Your celestial song is coming up next. Warning, listening to this station for prolonged periods may lead to ecstatic joy, profound prosperity, sparkling light, overwhelming clarity, and the peace that passes human understanding. Listen at your own bliss. Woo! Thank you. So if you're new, this is your first time here, we do this every year in January, and we get fired up about it. Don't worry, I don't do it every week for the whole year, although I wouldn't mind, but, it's pretty outrageous, right? So, hey, friends, it's a new day. It's a new day. Woohoo! The past does not define us. Now is the time for us to apply the lessons that we've learned in our lives, learned here, and put our teaching into practice. Are you with me? Yes. We are the heroes that the world has been waiting for. We are the heroes that we have been waiting for, yes? Wow, so the theme for 2024 is a grand rising, and the January theme is also a grand rising, and today's talk is all about how it's a new day. Now, I saw a great meme this week on social media that said, does everyone know what a meme is? Yeah, okay. No? Okay, so a meme is like a picture and then there's something written on it, right? So there's funny memes and then there are like spiritual memes. I'm talking about the spiritual memes, right? And so this meme said, in any given moment, we have two options. To step forward into growth or to step back into safety. And I was so inspired by that. And it turns out that this is actually a famous quote by Abraham Maslow, as in Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. You're all familiar with that, yes? Which explains human motivation, what motivates us as human beings in our lives. And so in any given moment, we have two options, either to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. Now, I was very moved by this because of all the things happening in my own life right now. And I imagine everyone has things happening in their lives. Yes, there's something. And so we have some new things upon us, which we're super excited about. One, sometimes it's super easy. I step into the flow and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul, and you just walk forward, right? You're like, I guess this is what's happening, so... And then other times you're like, ooh, I don't think so. No, I'm not too sure about that. Well, I don't know if I can. Should I? I'm not sure. Would it work out? I don't know, right? And you do this whole dance when it's like, just step into the flow, let it go, like the other thing, you've got practice with this, you can do it. So one example for us was my husband and I, my mom passed away. And we were taking care of her little dog, Roxy the Yorkie. And I know. And we had been taking care of her while she was in the hospital. And then when she passed away, we were still taking care of her, right? And my husband looked at me and said, I guess we have a dog now. And I was so inspired by that. Like, he literally stepped right into the flow. I didn't have to fight for it. I didn't have to make my case about why we should keep it and how she's just this small little dog, right? I mean, how much space is she going to take? It was just, yeah. It's true. Turns out She owns our entire condo and us. So she takes us for walks and all sorts of good things. She has us on our schedule. She's ready to eat when she's ready, and she'll just like look at you. She doesn't bark, though. She makes these little, I know, how cute is that, right? So that was super easy. And then there's another thing going on, which is, there's the estate and all this stuff, and there's also a house. And we're like, oh no, that's over the top, right? We're not ready, we're not ready for this. It's too far. Same thing I did with coming over to Templeton when I first started out in ministry on the Central Coast. Oh, it's too far, and blah, blah, blah. Like we were making things up. We were actually making things up about why it wouldn't work. And then people kept coming to me and saying, so are you keeping the house? And this is common, right? Like everyone I talk to, so what are you going to do with their house, And then that would go into a deeper conversation. And then it finally occurred to me that, okay, something's happening here, right? Spirit's trying to get me to see with these eyes of clarity and an awareness and openness. And what if we were to step into the flow? So let's try this on. Say we're going to buy out, because I have a sibling, so we're going to buy him out. And then what does that look like? And it turns out that we would actually be paying less rent, less of a mortgage payment than we would for our rent. And it's like this. It's only 10 more miles. 10 miles. Then it becomes like a no-brainer. So then we're like, hey, we step into the flow, and then we let it go. All of a sudden, right? We weren't like, oh, no, but we were like, oh, we'll put the TV over here, and we could do this, and oh, now we have 3 bedrooms, so you get a room, I get a room, everybody gets a room, right? We get Roxy her own couch and her own blanket. Roxy's the dog, remember? And so, but that feeling, right, of joy, like, oh, this is our next evolution, to be homeowners, and right? Thank you. Isn't that how it works sometimes, though? No, nope, not for me. 10 miles is too far. It's 10 more minutes, can't do it. But both of us are from the Bay Area also, right? And we used to drive 30 minutes probably to get our mail or whatever, right? To get groceries or, it's just funny what we do. But so anyway, in any given moment, we have 2 options: step forward into our growth or to step back into safety. Right? What are we going to do? So the question I have for you today, my friends, is in what area of your life are you being called to step forward into growth? Yet instead of stepping forward into growth, you find yourself stepping backward into safety and keeping things status quo. I'll bet there's some area in your life that you're experiencing this. Now, our affirmation for today was, today is a new day. Anything is possible. And this is so true. So if anything is possible and I am called to step forward into my growth, will I do it? Can I do it? I know I can, but will I? If we remember that principle is not bound by precedent, that means that the past does not define the present. It doesn't. Sometimes we think it is or does, and we think, well, this was a mistake in the past, and I'll never let that happen again, and I will never open myself up to this kind of opportunity, right? But that's not true. The past does not define the present. Or as the singer Aaliyah sang to us, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. You know that one? No? Everyone's giving me blank stares like, please never sing again. Okay. I got it. I got the memo. Please do not do that. I was so excited about that one too. Shoot. Okay, moving on. One of my favorite Ernest Holmes quotes is, "Principle is not bound by precedent. There is no law in the universe that seeks to perpetuate old limitations, but there is a law which corresponds to our greatest vision at the exact level of that vision." Friends, there is nothing in life that says you must keep walking down the same street. But if you do keep walking down the same street, expect to keep arriving at the same place. Or as my mentor, Dr. David Bruner, used to tell us, be careful where you're headed, you just might get there. Yeah. So we have a poem that is so perfect for today, and it's actually from our foundations material curriculum, and it's so powerful. So it's by Portia Nelson, and it beautifully describes the stages of transformation. Now, I know many of you have probably heard this before. Chapter 1, I walk down the street, there is a deep hole in the sidewalk, I fall in. I am lost, I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Have you all been in that kind of situation? Yes? Chapter 2, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I am in the same place, but this isn't my fault. It still takes me a long time to get out. Anyone been there? I pretend I don't see it, right? Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. My eyes are open. It's a habit. I just fall right in. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down that same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. And then there's chapter 5. I walk down a different street. Can I get an amen? Amen. And so it is, yes? I step into the flow and then I let it go. You walk down a different street. You choose the path of your growth, right? So in any given moment, we have two options: to step forward in growth or step back into safety. In Portia's poem, the hole is there, but it's the street she always walks down, and so she continues to walk down the street because it's what she knows. And sometimes human beings lean toward continuing to do what they know because the unknown can be scary. But not for us. Right? Not for us, not today, not here, not this year, not ever. Why? Because we have God. We have Spirit, the divine, the universe, the thing itself, the way, the Tao, the force, source energy, whatever you call it, that's what we have. We have that. Yes? Yes. Okay, thank you. And whoever has that lacks nothing. Remember this, right? Tell yourself this. Try this at home, As the beautiful Saint Teresa of Avila observed, whoever has God lacks nothing. If we can think of the unknown as divine, the great invisible guest who is always with us, and remember who walks beside us at all times, we couldn't be afraid of the unknown. We couldn't. The Course in Miracles states if you knew who walked beside you at all times on the path that you have chosen, you would never experience fear or doubt again. We are evolutionary beings of light and love, constantly becoming more of who we came here to be, more of ourselves. Not becoming something different or something other than who we are, but letting go of who we aren't, so we can be who we already are, who we were, and who we always have been. Are you with me? Awesome. So if you keep sending your divine calling to voicemail or keep hitting the snooze button on your growth, how many people hit the snooze button here? Right? I mean, we just can't help it. If we keep doing that, hitting the snooze button on our growth and our amazing futures, we might get a spiritual 2x4 to the forehead. Nobody likes that, but the universe will keep knocking on your door until, bam, you can't be mad about it either. You can't be mad about it because you saw it coming. You saw it coming, you heard the calling, and you sent it to voicemail. Ever look at your phone and go, boop, not now, not today, I'm busy. This is it, my friends. Excuse me, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is our time. It's now or never. The universe, which is the outpicturing of the intelligence of the presence, is progressive. So think about it. We're here on planet Earth. Yes? Yes. The Earth is circling the sun. The sun and the entire solar system are revolving around the center of our galaxy. Every one of those heavenly bodies has a rotation of its own. Yes? Mind blown, right? Yeah, thank you. Stay with me. Every time there's a complete rotation, the frequency of those heavenly bodies goes a little bit higher. And so the Earth is vibrating at a higher frequency today than it was 10 years ago. So everything is literally progressing into the unknown depths of space. Yes? I know. Isn't that amazing? So if you're the same person that you were 365 days ago, you're not really the same person. You've actually gone backward because everything else has gone forward so much. Right? Yeah, you see that. That's what the giggles are for and the oh mans. Jump on the train, Jen. Let's go. Since everything is progressive, it's creating a level of tension. So there's this level of tension that occurs that creates some discomfort for us and a little bit of pain because we have to grow. Anybody been there? Not the house. Nope, can't do it. It's going to make us grow, right? We didn't know it. We do it unconsciously, I don't think so. Yes? Well, I'm not sure I can do that. I'm not sure it's for us. Well, right? That tension that we feel creates this discomfort and pain, and we want to maybe not experience that pain, but it's going to keep knocking on your door, is what I'm saying. Calling you to grow, calling us to grow. Now, life is progressive, the universe is progressive, and it's pushing you, and it'll keep pushing you until you get pulled by a larger vision. So you're in the pain, you're saying, no, not today, I can't do it, this is why, reasons, and then suddenly a vision. What if we put the couch over here, and the TV will go here, or maybe we don't even need a TV. And what about this room, and this room, and I can see it. I can imagine it. And I kind of like it. That, So the universe, being progressive as it is, right, will continue to push us until we are pulled by a larger vision. Now, sometimes we get pushed by pain until we're pulled by vision, yeah? So pain will push us. For a lot of people, it can manifest as you need to leave a job or maybe end a relationship or move or whatever, right? And you get pushed by the pain of the discomfort. You don't like things the way they are, but you stay in it because you know it. And so, but suddenly when you start to imagine something that is for you, you begin to be pulled by that, like a magnet, Yeah. So do the thing, my friends, that you've been considering. Be all that you came here to be. This is the day. This is the time. This is your year. This is my year. This is our year. This is Awakening Ways Center for Spiritual Living. It's our year, right? Yes. So as Ernest Holmes observed about the past, let's not struggle with the past anymore. Let us not remember that there was a time when we were also away. Let's forget the past and live in the eternal present of God's smile. Today is a good day. Tomorrow will be even better. And the panorama of tomorrows that spans the bright eternities of the infinite future will be totally good, because the nature of reality cannot change. Ernest Holmes wrote that, right? Beautiful. And he also observed this about the future. Equally, we must not have fear for the future. I see that the future is bright with promise. It beckons me forward into a more complete realization of my own worth and my rightful place in the universe. All my tomorrows will be happy and filled with harmonious occupations. I look to the future with great and pleasurable anticipation, knowing it will expand my opportunity for radiant self-expression. I love my past. Ooh, can you say that? Repeat after me. I love my past. One more time. I love my past. Ooh, and my future. I love my future. And I understand that they are but continuations of the one unbroken chain of life. There is no future to be afraid of, and no past to bring discord into the present. Principle is not bound by precedent. Yes. So I also want to take a moment and honor the birth and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we have the observed holiday tomorrow. So Martin Luther King Jr. served as a representation of a cultural movement towards equality, freedom, and justice for all. Now, although Dr. King's impact is revered, he was a controversial figure in his time. As we experience a grand rising, we're called to also celebrate and honor people in our own communities who are advocating for equality, freedom, and justice for all. You know? Yeah. Within this community, I know there's a few of you in here at least who are advocating for that, and consider, our modern day heroes are likely also being met with some vitriol, just like Dr. King was met with that, right? And so this is our opportunity to really greet this new era with love and time and talent toward the people and organizations that are truly contributing to our collective grand rising. It's a new day, and history has its eyes on us. So Ernest Holmes also observed, we cannot be born of the Spirit unless we do the will of the Spirit. And the will of the Spirit is goodness, peace, mercy, justice, and truth. It is conscious union with God. And so that's where we're at. As religious scientists, we're called to treat and move our feet. Injustice everywhere, actually injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere, isn't it? And so in the invitation to participate in a collective grand rising, it's up to us to do our own healing work of our own internal biases. And that's the way we collectively move forward. It's uncomfortable sometimes, but it's our work to do, right? So gender and racial equality were actually never explicitly discussed in the Science of Mind texts. I love that Ernest Holmes himself was an advocate for equality. Holmes maintained a close relationship with a minister named Reverend Pearl C. Wood. Have any of you ever heard of Reverend Pearl C. Wood? Wow, that was hard to get out. Easy for you to say. She was known as Mother Pearl. And she had the Triangular Church in Los Angeles. Now, that center actually remains a predominantly African American congregation. And at a ceremony presenting the center's charter, Holmes said to the congregation, "If she's your mother, then I'm your father." And so many of us choose to lead from love without being aware of internal unconscious bias, yes? So leading from love requires that we're willing to see uncomfortable truths within our hearts and bring them forward to heal. And so if you haven't picked up our book of the month this month, he's speaking to that. So Sean A. Jenwright is the author, and he's speaking to reimagining justice and reimagining ourselves with 4 pivots. And I love these pivots. The first pivot is to go from lens to mirror. The second is to pivot from transactional to transformative relationships. How beautiful. The third pivot is to reimagine how we think and act by shifting from problem fixing to possibility creating. And the fourth pivot, right? The fourth pivot is to move from hustle to flow. That is so needed by all of us, to move from hustle to flow. And so our first pivot was to move from lens to mirror. And I love this. And I have the book because I love to just flip through the pages, right? And then I also get the Audible in case I need to, which I do now, need to go out for walks with our little doggy. And I can listen. And so that's really great, right? And he was talking about moving from lens to mirror and describing how really beautifully, right, how we look into an actual mirror. Like there's a mirror right in the back there, But in the morning, when we're getting ready to go out of our homes, we go to the mirror and do our hair or shave for the men, right? And maybe the women too. I don't know. Thank you for laughing. We do our hair, we brush our teeth, and then we check our outfits to make sure everything's in order, and then we leave, right? And so this mirror is reflecting back to us, isn't it? And think about like all of your years growing up and the many different mirrors that you looked into and the many different expressions of yourself, that you've seen. Long hair for Travis. He had the hair like down to here. It was beautiful. All of the different expressions of yourself. It's powerful. And so what we've been being taught and educated on in terms of imagining justice in the past has been looking through a new lens, which is looking through like you put on some new glasses, right? You put on those sunglasses and then you see things differently. Have you ever tried on like the chakra glasses, the red glasses, and then you see red, You just see it differently, right? And so we have been collectively called to put on this racial equity lens. And in my day job, for example, there's diversity and inclusion meetings and book clubs and all of this, right? So we're putting on this lens. But to move from lens to mirror is to not just put that on, but to say, before I even put on that lens, what's happening in me? What's happening in me? And so it's looking at that mirror and allowing ourselves to have the courage and humility to look at ourselves, right? In a deep way. So the lens is the way that we've been trained to have an analysis of social issues, but having that lens is an outward look. We're called to have an inward look. The pivot is to mirror work, which is a reflection, and a deeper look at who we are and who we need to become to truly foster a world that works for everyone. And it looks like this. What has harmed me? What has harmed us? What do I need to heal from? You see that? Yeah. So the mirror work is about our capacity to understand who we are and ourselves on this journey to create justice and well-being. So if you haven't picked up the book, I invite you to do so. We've got a few more copies available. And so we're going to move in now to the conclusion. I did promise for those of you who weren't here last week that I would explain a little bit about a grand rising. So grand rising is a phrase that is used by some people when they wake up for the first time that they see someone during the day. Now, it's primarily used instead of using the phrase of good morning. And I assured everyone there's nothing wrong with saying good morning, okay? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. There. It's all good, right? It's great. But in the context of ways in which to greet the day, grand rising means something a little different. It's just a little different from saying good morning. So when we go out and about and prefix with grand, it really creates the sense that there's something bigger happening, doesn't it? A grand rising. Like good morning is really like stating, hey, it's morning and it's good. Morning good, right? More like a statement, good morning or good afternoon, right? But a grand rising is powerful, right? So the spiritual angle for using the term grand rising is that when we go to sleep, the conscious mind rests. And it is believed that our subconscious and unconscious minds are in a state of travel to other realms. So if you accept this as truth in understanding sleep, then saying grand rising is giving thanks for returning it all back to your body. Like we've been traveling, right? And now there's a holistic presence and everything is here. It's been away for some time. And now there's a grand holistic rising of all aspects. And it celebrates that act of body, mind, and spirit holistically rising. Good morning is specific to the time of day. So a grand rising. We're experiencing a grand rising. That's giving thanks that our spirit or soul has returned to our body and we have now risen again. I love it. It's so powerful. Try it on. Grand rising. Woo, that feels good. Turn to someone around you and say, a grand rising. Someone else. Grand rising, Zoomers. Grand rising, Brian. And a grand rising to you. Yeah, it's even fun to just say it, right? There's power in our words, isn't there? So, my friends, to wrap it all up, today is a new day. Anything is possible. In any given moment, we have two options. One, to step forward into our growth, or two, step back into our safety. What will you choose this week? What's motivating you to step back, you know? If you knew who walked beside you at all times on the path that you have chosen, you could never experience fear or doubt again. And the question for you to ponder this week, in what area of your life are you being called to step forward into growth? Yet, instead of stepping forward, you find yourself stepping backward into safety. And two additional questions to ask yourself this week is to ponder, are there any traditions or rituals that you think our center might develop to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy? I mean, it's too late this year, but we can start thinking of something for next year. And what would a grand rising look like to you within our spiritual community here? And these will also be sent out. All right, so I'm now going to invite Travis to come up as we prepare for our closing treatment. I lost my words there for a second. So I invite you to, while he gets prepared, to just do what I call the religious science shuffle, which is, shake it out. You've been sitting there for a while. Stretch, maybe scratch your nose, scratch your ears. Shake your legs, shake your toes, and get comfortable. And allow yourself to be totally present and in this moment. I like to close my eyes, so I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, you can gently rest your gaze a few feet in front of you. And join me in returning to this beautiful, expansive space within, where I remember that this is the space of grace. This is the space of absolute love. It's like that secret garden within, which is the space of vibrant, vivid color. Like everything is welcoming. It's the perfect temperature. It's like the soul spa within us. And it's right within all of us in the same degree. And in this space is pure love. Remember a time when you felt so loved. That's the feeling in this space. We're cared for, we're protected and held in the arms of the divine. Cradled, confident, peaceful, and at ease. And I'm so grateful in this moment to identify with this presence that lives within me. I know it has breathed me into existence, just as it has breathed each individual here today into existence, and the entire manifest universe into existence. All of it is the body of the divine. And as I remember this, I remember and claim for each one of us that we remember from this moment forward, we know who walks beside us at all times. And in our knowing, we have nothing to fear, we have nothing to doubt. We know. And we know that we know. Oh, and that is so good, because that allows us to really step into that flow with such ease, because we know we are cared for, we are protected, we are guided and loved in every moment. That there is no way that anything other than pure love can happen for us. And we see it. We are unmoved by drama. We are unmoved by anything other than truth. It's not inspiring for us. We're not interested in anything other than the divine truth, and other than this divine knowingness that love is all there is, that peace is all there is, that it is within me right now, and we have access to it. There's nothing else. And in that knowingness, we can claim and affirm and accept all of the good that is here for us now. Today is a new day. Today is a new day. And I am experiencing a grand rising. And all of those people that I come in contact with, and animals and nature and everyone, is feeling exactly what I'm feeling. They're inspired. They're like sparks coming out, and people are lit up by this grand rising. And it is so good. I'm so grateful to get to experience and be all that I came here to be. Life is amazing. And I give thanks for all of those who came before us. And I give thanks for each and every individual in this room and watching us on Zoom here today. We are loved. Feel that love wash over you now. Feel it. Feel that joy wash over you now. Feel that peace wash over you now. And remember, God loves you exactly as you are, and it wouldn't change one thing about you. I'm so grateful. With this gratitude, I can release this prayer into that loving and creative action of the law where I know it is so. And I invite you to help me anchor this truth by saying with me, and so it is. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, my friends. Thank you for tuning in to KGOD, all spirit, all the time, commercial free. Keep tuning in to KGOD and you will learn to accentuate the positive and let go of the negative, which leads to a successful, optimistic, happy, and fulfilled life. Today's broadcast was brought to you by the angels and the cosmic merrymaids of the universe. We hope you enjoyed hearing your celestial song of love, peace, joy, harmony, abundance, wisdom, compassion, and bliss. And so it is.
And so it is.
Woo!